Welcome back to Amy Stadium. Take one last good look at it. This is the last AFL sanctioned game to be played here. And Adelaide Oval has been so fantastic for football in general, not just for South Australian football. It's been an outstanding ground, and both teams looking forward to getting back there for their 2015 season. The Adelaide Crows, of course, with a new coach. First time they've gone head-to-head, Philip Walsh and Ken Hinkley, old friends.
Yep.
Been much spoken about, or because it's only a half the showdown, hasn't really had the full intensity in the press this week?
I think Walshy put a cockle on the hook midweek just to see if he'd take it, but wasn't up for it. But no, they got a great amount of respect for each other, those two.
Absolutely. From the restart, Adelaide by 7 points. Lobie gets his own clearance, rolls it inside 50. Cheney hits back. Butcher gets back ahead of him, slipped it behind. Laird flicks it out, and Cheney content to take it to the line.
Expect the third quarter to be played with the same intensity as the first half, no doubt about that. Sometimes in the last quarter, sides can choose to pull a few moves, but this quarter will be full steam.
Crows starting the third quarter with Tex Walker and Eddie Betts, their two main strikers up in the forward line, on the bench.
Broadbent long. Need is the flyer from deep. Couldn't trap it. Boak does trap it, kicks it around the body, and he's missed a couple today.
And he's had 21 touches, Travis Boak, so he's got a fair bit of the ball. Ollie Wines 19, Robbie Gray 18, and Cam Ellis-Yeoman for the Crows leading possession winner with 18.
Most of those in the opening term. Straight down the middle. Laird. Walker, well worked in the corridor to Sloan. Run down, caught, threw it away. Port Adelaide can play on quickly here on the rebound. Pittard.
Oh, Butcher's got free. Hasn't seen him.
Pittard has now, but he's now manned up. He's still in front of him. Henderson gets there and towed out on the full.
Yeah, with better vision, he should be walking backwards, sizing up the goals now from 45 metres out. They didn't see him early enough.
And Roo, they were the turnovers last year that unbelievably cost the Crows, wasn't it? Those midfield turnovers, and they just got heavily scored against. I think that's what Walshy wants to bring to this side, that real hard-nosed defence. Once that ball gets turned over, they make it hard to get scored against.
You just can't turn them over in the midfield. The good sides just destroy you on the rebound. So
it's out there now, Tex.
And he's in a good spot here, just through his hands. Sloan feeds onto it, gives it to right, open goal, unselfish, Dangerfield.
He just got in behind Carlisle here. A little bit of support there from... Was it Grigg there standing in the front?
Just Tommy Jonas is the one that went at the player there to Douglas, to Matty Wright, to be able to handball over the top. There's no point doing that. If you're going to go at them, you got to go there and do something, or stay back and make them kick it, because you have some chance of missing it with the kick, zero chance of missing it from a kick in the goal square.
You're a bit young still, Roo. There was an old time when they said if ever you go at them, you've got to take them down, even if the ball's going over your head.
Yep, but you can't do that anymore.
No, you can't.
Lions, marked by Pollock.
I think Tommy got 3 games, was it last year, even the year before, for doing exactly that.
Yeah.
He's certainly not frightened to do it, Tommy, but he knows what
great kick.
The rules are.
Super kick, that.
Impey from Matt White, squeezes to Need in the pocket. Not quite the second grab, and Laird just got it away in time.
Did you see that from Impey then? He looked to give the handball. He was 60 metres out, closing towards goal. You watch it here. He's actually got to just... Right now, he's got to burst, lay the ears back and look for the kick. See, he ended up holding it for 2 steps too long and could only kick down a certain channel because the players encroached on his kicking path. Yep. Sometimes you've got to lay the ears back and just back your pace in.
McKay stripped by Need. Westhoff shoots it out. Mitchell winds into the pocket. It would be a miracle from there. He centred it. And the mark taken by Cheney to Henderson. Dangerfield's in a one-on-one with Pittard. O'Shea and Pittard work together, get it out of play.
And just on extension of that, the that last play from Impey, the ball can only go to one place then on the lead. And the defenders know that as well.
Started forward again, Danger.
Good attack from Betts. Jumped in front of the two players who were in the right seat to get it. And Broadbent takes it out.
So for a midfielder slash forward, which you did as well, Rube, which is Paddy Dangerfield.
Yep.
Do you look forward at this time of the year and say, it's going to be a long season, so even today, I know I can play midfield, I'll just take a little bit more heat out of it today and spend time up forward?
Well, I don't know why will she be doing it. Maybe just wants to see him up forward a bit more. I think he's a really, really dangerous forward.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's equally as dangerous as a forward as he is in the midfield, so you can really make your forward line even more dangerous if you can afford to have him forward. But that's the thing. Can they afford to have him sitting up forward?
Yeah, it's over the boundary line. Does longevity for this, does your fitness resource, your stocks come into your thought?
I think this week fitness is more important. But obviously Phil is looking at shaping the forward line and looking at some different structures up there. So,
and we do go chase the market leader, and if you can get more avenues to goal, it's probably trying to chase the Hawthorn model.
Ebert stripped of it on the tackle. Crowd wanted ball. Ellis Yeoman somehow. Walker, Douglas, shoot from there, does from there. 3 in a row to Adelaide.
Now, his possessions aren't through the roof, Tex Walker, but every time he is being involved, a score is happening.
he's clever.
This is just a little tap. Just watch a little tap down here. Pops up.
Douglas has been good too today. He was a bit average last week, but this is a very good game from him so far.
Numbers were down last year as well.
Yeah.
Roo?
Yeah, he had a few bits and pieces going on, but he was great the year before.
Yeah, it was an All-Australian squad the year before, didn't make the team.
Very good midfielder at his best, Richard Douglas.
Wins the best and fairest at his best. Ball back in the middle. 18 points to margin. That's the biggest margin the Crows have had today. Ball back in Dangerfield's hands for a split second. Still got it again. Gives it to Sloan. This is for 9. Strikes it okay. Super goal again.
Well done.
Had his foot just outside the line. Rory Sloan.
You just wonder what happens at the country footy clubs, don't you, when they sail through? Do they all, in the lounge rooms, when they get the footies, oh, they'd be pumped. Because they kick with some shocking old footies in the bush, don't they?
Upway Tacoma, they'd have a good bag of footies.
Good club.
Good club.
Yeah, this is good on the non-dominant side, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, gee, his foot was almost on the line.
Yeah, well done.
I'm not sure.
Let it go.
Oh, yeah, he rocked onto the toe. I reckon
he's happy with it too. Look at him. Sloaney.
On the line doesn't count.
They're playing an extra man in defence, Port Adelaide, so are the Crows as well. And what's happening is he's staying too far back. We see they're keeping the front of the square open, so they'll run it to the front of the square. They kick it this time. That's the loose man.
Yeah.
Now, if he comes up to the centre square, he'll stop the Crows running it inside, well, to the top of the 50 like Rory Sloan did on the last score.
So we don't go to the video to decipher whether that was a super goal or not. Just play on. Mitchell towards Butcher.
I think NAB can afford it.
Off his nose. Depends on whether you want the scoreline to be right or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bit more than $500 worth of footies riding on it.
Here we
Have
go.
a look. Planted there.
Yeah. Oh, you dragged it.
The drag, no, that's the no ball rule.
All right, okay.
Yeah, as long as it's planted.
I'm not sure if the ball have to be off your foot by the time it's planted. We'll give it to him anyway. Mitchell slips it. Nice work, Gray.
Oh, that's a rare miss.
Misses.
Rare miss. Looks like we're just about ready for a change down there. One of the Tom Cleary, one of the boys taking their green vest off.
Yeah, he's got the vest off. I'm just waiting to see who the red vest is going to. It's obviously someone still on the field at the moment, boys, so they're just waiting for that interchange to come through now.
Might be that bloke that just had the ball, big Bobby Carlisle, maybe.
Oh, just bent down, got it. Late touch for him. Called high. Pittard heard the explanation from the umpire. First touch was high. Now Homsch can go. He's got Corns over the top. About to be shut down.
That's good support. Who's the boy on the mark there?
Jake
That's Kelly. He's just on the sub.
Done very well to shut that down.
The Bull, they call him, the son of Collingwood Premiership player Craig Kelly.
This is Cement's boy, isn't he?
He's son of Ned. Had a good pre-season as well in the 47. Might see a bit of him in the main season. Off the rookie list, White line. And Lobie resting forward, Jacobs resting back.
Gee, he nearly took it, didn't he?
Good battle that, and a free kick. Port Adelaide's way. Robbie Gray.
Hardigan giving away the free kick. Let's have a look at it. It was very nearly a mark by Lobie. And that's sloppy by Hardigan. It's just giving them a goal.
Dwayne Camo Shea's the guy that's been subbed off down here for Port.
Any injuries, Moons, to Camo Shea?
Don't believe so, don't. Well,
Gee,
looking at
Robbie
him at the
Gray's
moment.
missed. Robbie Gray's missed as well. They've missed a few.
Because Camo Shea, I don't reckon, has played that role all that well today. I'd be inclined to leave him out there.
Right.
He might not be in round one, Derm.
There's Jake Kelly.
I'd be inclined to leave him out there to get that right, what his role is. I don't think he's done it all that well today. So he's either
Not in
losing
round
his
one.
position for round one, or he's got an injury.
Carlisle to Polek. Just pokes that to Ebert. Sends it to the lead. Butcher on the run. Hits the turf. Wanted a free. Didn't get it. Laird feeds it out. Van Berlo. Cheney. Ellis Yeoman. There's O'Shea
Doesn't look happy.
having a rest.
No, he came off a little bit dirty, to be honest, Derm. He's no injuries there, but just shake of the head and wasn't too happy about coming off.
Play on, you come around.
Cheney told to go. Hugs the boundary, and he missed Jenkins completely. Carlisle takes the mark. Port Adelaide still on the congested side.
Is the team defence that we talked about at half-time. Bit of indecision about where to go at the moment, Port.
So all the way back to Cleary, the sub who's now on. Pittard, Homsch.
He can play too, Tom Cleary. Just can't get into this side that's...
It's good size, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good kid. Real good player.
Talia or Sam Gray
That
could
should be
jump.
free.
Okay.
Got to watch the ball.
And
Good umpiring.
Tom Cleary played round one last year, as we see Laird go down, and he didn't play another game last year, so he has at least played an AFL game. Be interesting to see if keeps his spot for round one this year as Polek. Down the middle, Young is free. He can get and go. Cheney's trying to shut him down. Schultz is behind for support.
Yeah, he's calling for it. Yeah, Schultz gave the forearm jolt to Laird as he ran past when he was standing on the mark before.
Jackson Trengo's not playing either. We forgot to mention him at the start, or I did anyway.
So Port Adelaide without Wingard, Hartlett, Trengove, Monfries and Ryder.
Not a bad five.
Yes, we yet to know whether all five will be available for round one.
Three of them should.
Question mark on Angus Monfries and Paddy Ryder.
Watch this. Watch the left arm. Yeah, he's acted it.
Spoke with Hamish Hartlett just before the game, guys, and he's pretty confident another week of training that he'll be right to play round one.
Adelaide Crows without a number of players as well, as we
good.
Another good mark to Ellis Yeoman. Not played.
Hey, good hang time there.
Yeah. Carlisle slips it to the pocket. Mitchell plays on. Pumps it to the square. Schultz is there. Butcher floats in. Just let it go. Gray had a piece of it. Grigg tries to scramble it clear. Straight to Polek. One step steady. And he misses. So not playing for Adelaide, Matthew Yench, James Podsiadly, they were both named for today, not playing. We've already spoken about Brent Riley, won't play round one. Scott Thompson, doubts whether he'll be available. Sam Kerridge, Andy Otten also unavailable.
Great kick in.
Straight down the middle. Right. Thought about taking off. The leads come. Who does he want? Jenkins.
Good footy. Quite often players rush in that situation. They feel the need that they have to pass it off or rush the shot on goal. But you just got to go back, get quickly back off the mark, and then just sum up the situation and hit the right target.
Super kick in, wasn't it? They all pressed up Port Adelaide to try and cover those shorts. And then they got the one out the back, about 55-metre flat pass up the middle of the ground to a running teammate. Pushes it on further.
Goal umpire did a bit of dancing, but it's there. Starting to stretch this margin a bit, Adelaide, now.
Well, they're stretching it because Port Adelaide aren't kicking straight. I mean, the Crows have had 5 inside 50s for 4 goals. Port Adelaide 7 inside 50s for 5 points. But look at the efficiency from the kick in to get it into the forward 50.
What a beautiful kick. You saw from that rear camera view that all Port Adelaide came up to the 50-metre line. And the ball went outside into the centre square. Low, flat, hard, beautiful pass. And they're all out the back. The only 3 Port Adelaide players who weren't inside defensive 50 to me a target were too far back up the field, just minding one-on-ones.
The inside 50s are 35 to 26 in favour of Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You'd back it in, though, that Port Adelaide might run in the last 10 minutes of each of these third and fourth quarters a little better than the Crows.
Ellis Yeoman, the steal. Sloan for 9 again. No. You bet.
Oh, that was bigger than Texas.
They'll have to start putting those balls in raffles.
Or it's worth a dozen. That's worth 12 points from there. Put another line in.
Let's have a look at where that was from again. That was a long one. They don't have to worry about putting the foot on the line or dragging the foot on that one, boys. Let's have a look where he let go from. Might have been inside the square.
Oh, Justin Westhoff had it in hand as well and just couldn't gather it. Didn't stay over at Jarman Impey either.
Inside the square.
They can have a ball each at Upway Tacoma. That's another 500 heading there.
From inside the square. There's another drag from the inside of the square. You might get 12 for that drag. Yeah, Jarman Impey was over that footy and didn't keep the body straight over the ball. Just let it drift off from him. It's a pretty easy give up in actual fact.
So 38 points to margin now. McKay, Corns and Brodie Smith. It rolls out of play in front of them. Port Adelaide has one more showdowns down the Adelaide Crows. Played 37, Port Adelaide 20. Adelaide 17, and the real stuff, this doesn't count in the tally. They have been talking here in Adelaide about the fact they shouldn't play pre-season. It diminishes some of the anticipation for the showdowns, having another battle in the pre-season. Just keep it to the 2 in the main season. You an advocate for that, Roo?
Yeah, look, I understand why they do it. I think it is good to try and keep the showdown special, so they don't have to travel.
Robbie Gray, that's true. Neither team has to get on the road. Wines to Boak, and he has some space. Pokes the pass to the pocket. Sam Gray to Impey. Dumped over the line.
5 straight goals in this third quarter of the Adelaide Crows. 6 behinds only to Port Adelaide. Been inside 50 more times than the Crows as well for this quarter.
Now
he can swing. If he can get a little mini block here. No, not going to happen. Room for Schultz to lead in. His big gaping hole in the forward pocket.
So Schultz is down there. Westhoff's down there as well. And no one goes at it. Chaney only goes at it.
Well done, Talia. Didn't block the run of Schultz, but just stood his ground, and Schultz wasn't willing to run around.
Now Wines is almost within range here. Doesn't like his chances. Goes to Westhoff. Cheney puts it to grass. Hardigan needs, steals, flicks it out, almost a throw. Sam Gray dumped. Brown put him to turf. Good tackling. McKay turns it over though. Broadbent drops it to the ground.
Good defensive
Kelly rolled in the
numbers.
tackle.
Really good defensive numbers. Look at all those Crows jumpers around the footy.
Wouldn't know it's a NAB challenge game, would you?
Yeah, they're having a go.
Flick down towards Broadbent. Sidestep was okay. Mitchell. Gray. Played for the free. Mitchell put his head down. No free. Great contest at the moment. Jenkins down to Eddie Betts, who lends a hand. Port with 2-on-1. Nice float into Homsch. And to the open side they peel. Cleary. Corns. Eben.
He's got Lobie in the goal square. And Schultz in the pocket. He's going to go to the other side of the ground now.
Hoping for Schultz. Talia right with him. Got it to ground. McKay stripped of it. Big pack around it. 15 players holding the ball. Adelaide's ball.
Bit out of sorts, Schultz.
So he's got Talia on him. Talia doesn't get too many kicked on him, but Joe Schultz hadn't even kicked a point, let alone a goal.
Yeah. Hardigan wide to Cheney.
But even his timing when he's jumping at the ball is out.
Not 15. Laird told to go. Corralled by White. Pokes the pass. So there's a hold behind play. It's okay though. Brown.
Move it on. Play on.
Hugs the boundary. Homsch floats in again. Blocking. Dangerfield's ball.
Dangerfield. Block.
New rule again getting them. A few Port fans here. This is, even though it's Adelaide's training base, it's Port Adelaide's area as well. And they're getting a little restless. McKay from 48. And he rams the advantage home even further.
Well, they defended so well for the last 6 or 7 minutes, the Crows. They got 15 men down inside their defensive 50 and just choked Port Adelaide for space. And conversely, when the ball comes out the other side, if it goes quick enough, there's going to be room for the Crows forwards when the ball goes down the other end and they get a running shot at goal.
Some real upside if they can get David McKay playing his best footy. They need some outside speed, the Crows, and David McKay's got that. He's a real skillful player. His body just hasn't allowed him to play consistent footy. Looks like there's a substitute here for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, Rizza circling with the red vest.
Rizza.
Paul Rizzonico.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Rizzonico, the old Collingwood player.
Yep.
Yes.
Really?
He's been a great club man for Port Adelaide as well over a long period of time.
Ripper of a bloke too.
He was touted when he was an under-19 player. Some silly person at Collingwood said he can win a Brownlow medal.
Well, if there was a Brownlow for good blokes, it'd be a chance. Dangerfield dumped on the turf. Van Berlo to Lynch. Got their tails up right now, the Crows. They're enjoying this, and their fans are enjoying it. Sloan leads to the pocket. Ignored initially. Might still have to go. Port Adelaide get the numbers up. Polek, Young, Eben. So Port Adelaide under siege.
See,
nowhere to go.
That kick there, that's where Johnny Butcher's got to hit there. See this ball now? Johnny Butcher languishing behind him. Might come through the screen there. There. He has to read that. He has to be the key forward to come up to the wing and say, here I am, big target, you're under pressure, dump it on my head.
Dangerfield, just knocked away by Cleary.
Moons, you're saying you're a bit critical of Johnny Butcher in that regard too.
Yeah, spot on, Dylan. Then again, it just comes down to experience, work rate, and concentration. You know, you get tired, and you can, as a key forward, you can just lapse in concentration, get caught, you know, too far behind the ball. But that's the one we're talking about. When they're under such pressure in your back half, you've got to be the guy for the bailout kick. And if you get jumped on, you get kneed in the back, well, so be it. That's your job as a key forward. Splendid
Tackle by Laird. They were out there, Port Adelaide, with slick hands. And Laird wrapped him up.
Holding, Sam, Adelaide.
Jacobs' ball, so a hold.
See, they're having a real good run here.
Sits it up for the lead.
Good.
Walker. Thumped away by Cleary. He's done well the substance coming on. Van Berlo tried the clever handball. Mitchell to Jake Need. Sidestep. Little shimmy. Kick smothered. Douglas. They've got the numbers again, Adelaide. Laird. Jacobs just not letting them out. Brown. So Philip Walsh's influence. He knows Port Adelaide extremely well.
They're not dealing with this, the pressure, the press-up, you'd even call it.
Oh, Dangerfield's marked that.
Well, he was so big with forward pressure, Phil Walsh, his whole career. West Coast at Port Adelaide. You know, this is something he's going to bring to this Adelaide side, this forward pressure. Something that they didn't really have a lot of last year. Just turning the ball over in their 50 and then allowing the ball to go straight down the other end through the middle of the ground. He is going to make this side such a better defensive team.
The assistant at Port Adelaide, assistant at the West Coast, was a good player in his own right. 122 games for Collingwood, Richmond and Brisbane. Dangerfield goes inboard. So he didn't know how to play the game as well, even though...
He was one of those players, Dwayne, that he came out in his first year or two and was awesome and then went straight into a transfer. That's a big bomb.
That was for 9.
Yeah, straight into a transfer, and he went to Richmond and didn't quite reach the same heights as they expected after that initial year or so at Collingwood.
Was that Eddie Betts that had a ping there?
Handed it off.
Handed off.
Yeah. Didn't want to have a crack himself. Homsch.
His hands have been good today, Homshy.
The boys at Mallee Park would have liked him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They've got a few kicking for them, Mallee Park, as well.
They had 9 players play AFL in over a 9-year period. One football club, Mallee Park. That would be an Australian record, I would have thought.
And most of them were extremely good.
Absolutely.
Going back to Byron Pickett, of course.
Burgoynes.
Yes.
John Cock.
Well, we've got 3.5 minutes left here, and the burst I suspected that Port Adelaide might be able to give with superior fitness, or we anticipate superior fitness, has not come.
Pickett, Harry Miller.
Yes.
Harry Miller.
Van Berlo. Eddie Betts. Little shrug was okay. Grigg just didn't find his boot with it. That's ball. Port Adelaide have, as you saw, another sub. Paul Stewart on, and Homsch done for the day.
He's been good, Homsch. He's one they've taken off, said we've seen enough. Lighten your load a little bit.
And speaking of Mallee Park, or speaking of Port Lincoln area, still one sub to come for the Adelaide Crows. Keenan Ramsey yet to emerge. Impey looked at his man, didn't look at the ball, and Dangerfield took the mark. That's what happens when you're on Eddie Betts. This will only be for 6. He just pokes it, and that's splendid. Lynch. They are playing all over Port Adelaide right now. 44 points now. This is for 50 points.
Gee, Ken Hinkley, he'd be filthy at the moment. You could imagine the spray he's going to give the Port players at 3/4 time.
Well, Tom Cleary's got him, but he had to go back to the square because Matty Wright ran really hard back to the goal square. So Cleary picked him up, which freed up Lynch.
Opens up the angle a little and splits the middle. 50 points to margin.
And then the one that gets off the chain there, well, the one who should have closed the chain down was, I think it's Pittard should have been on Wright.
By all reports, Hinkley gave him a massive spray after their performance against Richmond, even though they had a really, really young side. He said that wasn't acceptable. But
top of screen there is Cleary and Lynch. Gets a separation. He calls somebody else and goes with Wright. Yeah, and Pittard is caught. There he is. Well, out of shot.
It was great running from Matty Wright, wasn't it? Just to make sure that he put him in double and put his mind in it and didn't know which way to go. Look, I don't think Port have been running that hard, to be honest, in this second half. They've been really poor with their defensive efforts to get back there and help their defence out.
So Matthew Nix and Tyson Edwards, the former Crow champ, in the Port Adelaide box with Ken Hinkley. High advantage. Lions keeps it low. Broadbent.
7-1. The centre clearances in the 3rd quarter in favour of Adelaide. 7-1.
So Matthew Lobey won't be happy with that. Stewart, the sub, or one of the 2 subs, to Carlisle, to the other sub, Cleary.
Josh Carr in charge of the midfield for the Power this year as well, without Phil Walsh there.
To Pittard. Caught. Broadbent about to get caught. Eddie Betts with the pressure, and there it is again. They force them out of play and don't let them out of their forward half.
And that was a legitimate 4-on-4 there. So they man for man, they did them on pressure.
Josh Carr will be watching open mic on Monday with Brownie on there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, gave him a nice one to the jaw in that grand final when they were searching for 4 in a row. Port Adelaide's premiership year.
That was
against
interesting.
The Brisbane Lions.
Another boundary line. Listening to Brownie then on the open mic, the snippet we had there at halftime, just means don't be in front of Jonathan Brown.
There's Kari right in the middle.
With the glasses on. And Michael Voss to his left, speaking of premiership stars.
And they reckon he's had a big impact over the summer down there.
And a good pickup. Absolutely. They needed someone to replace Phil Walsh, of course. They've lost a couple in recent times. Alan Richardson, of course, to St Kilda as well. Sloan tries to slip it out. 1 minute left, third term. Margin, 50 points. Gray to Gray. Sam Gray into the boot of Smith. It's coming back with interest. Laird, McKay. Tex didn't get to him. Cut off by Broadbent. Port Adelaide on the open side. Ebert. He gives it to Mitchell, who's got speed and a paddock to use it. Wants to come inboard to Stewart, who's fresh at least. And the return handball didn't hit the target. Still okay. Mitchell, a roller. Need, arms free. Slips the tackle. Runs to 40. Hits the post.
Dwayne, I know you're an attention to detail type man. The other two blokes from Mallee Park, Daniel Wells and Lindsay Thomas, a couple of handy North Melbourne footballers.
Absolutely. Daniel Wells spent a little time in Perth in his late teens, but he did grow up early teens, early years in Port Lincoln. Spot on. Good get, Roo. Good Port Lincoln man. He wouldn't dare go back to the pub unless he got that right. That'll be in for a free one.
I just got a text from the Colonel, the Mayor of Port Lincoln.
I thought you were the Mayor of Port Lincoln.
No, I'm only unofficial.
Siren will sound here. It's been a good contest, especially if you're an Adelaide Crow fan. Port Adelaide's had the lead a few times, but Philip Walsh, former Port Adelaide assistant coach, former West Coast assistant coach, and you can see John Worsfold on his left helping out today, the West Coast Eagles premiership coach. So they've got the big guns and they've got the big lead. Adelaide at three-quarter time by 49.
I got compared to, is it Lopez, the tennis player, I think? Stacking fridges. No white socks with a suit. I'll bet you everyone said me, but probably Matty Lobey. Ollie Wines. It'd have to be Ollie Wines. I've been gifted with skinny little legs and it's hard to move around, and he's got these massive ginormous ones, and he seems to work for him, so I love his big quads.
Port Adelaide captain Travis spoke on the spot with the Fox footy cameras. Maybe won't be laughing right now though. They've conceded the last 8 goals in a row, Port Adelaide. The Crows have piled on 8 in a row. They lead by 49. And Michael Voss is downstairs, one of the assistants at Port Adelaide, with Cameron Mooney.
Thanks, Dwayne. Vossi, not a great quarter, let's be honest, but started the centre bounce, didn't it? I mean, 7-1, really got whacked out of there.
Yeah, we did, and that's something that we've talked about. How do we handle the pressure inside? When we get our chance, we've got to convert it into a clearance, and we certainly had our chances, Moons, because we're forward of the ball quite a fair bit that quarter, but we just weren't able to hit the scoreboard, and they went down the other, and they did.
We're running hard enough both ways at the moment. We look at them going inside 50, scoring at 50%. That's a pretty big, high percentage.
Yeah, well, we talked about defence there, and that's sort of a bit of a hallmark of ours, and I know everyone talks about our running, but defence, we've worked on a lot, so it's something we need to rectify in the last quarter.
Thanks, Vossi.
Good to see Vossi back in the coaching ranks, isn't it, boys? He had a year or so off and back at Port Adelaide.
Oh, I liked him with us better.
Hey?
I liked him when he was with us.
Yeah, he was good fun.
Port Adelaide will be lucky to get 2 years out of him though, won't they?
Depends if an opportunity arises, I suppose.
There's always opportunities for senior coaches arising. We think no one's going to get sacked, and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 do. Polak runs the midfield nicely. Try and give them a spark. Goes to Robbie Gray. Well played, Laird. Got there, put the pressure on, and got nothing but Sharon. He didn't go his arm, he didn't go his ear. He tried to get the ball. Ebert jumped by Sloan. And ball. Rory Sloan gets the free.
That was really, really courageous by Laird, but Port have come out with a bit of spark here early.
Talia goes back. Grigg. Talia, Sloan. Running off Ebert. Couldn't quite clutch that. And it rolls out of play. They see much of each other during the week, the players? Do they run into each other in town?
It's just not a big town, Adelaide, so I presume they would.
Any pubs?
Not far from the Ramsgate here too, a lot closer than Adelaide Oval is. They need a new one perhaps, close to the Adelaide Oval. Off hands, down to Cheney, and open space.
It's only 13 years ago, you blokes.
Yeah, and it will never, ever, ever be forgotten. Nice bounce down the wing. This looks good for Henderson. He could even think about going all the way home. He goes to Patrick Dangerfield.
Yeah, Matty Wright was on at the top of the square, but he just... Oh, they didn't see him or didn't think he could kick it that far.
It's the Dangerfield magnet. You like his one-on-one, you presume, regardless of who he's up against.
Righto, Derm. Does he try and do one of your bending drop punts, or do you go a check side from the Tony Hall pocket?
Yeah, it's a tough kick for him. But a little bit of breeze. There we go. A little bit of breeze coming over, well, pretty well through the goal face, pushing it to the centre of the ground.
He keeps it low and just across the face.
Yeah, understood that breeze and kept it right under it.
The two teams, reserves teams, went head-to-head at Alberton Oval before this game. Got a few fans at Alberton Oval as well. Port Adelaide's real home ground, if you like, traditional home ground, to see the two SANFL teams go head-to-head. Westhoff flicks it wide, so it's been a big Crow versus Power afternoon, and right now the Crows look like taking home the chocolates. It's only the NAB challenge, of course. It's all about round one, but this might sting a few. Bit of pride, losing a one-on-one battle against a player you go to face in round 5, which is the first showdown of the season. Adelaide Crows showdown that will be, so they'll own the crowd and they're looking for a record. Sam Gray rolls it to Butcher. Toes it to Cheney. Lays the tackle. Travis Boak. Ollie Wines. Kickable by his standards. But they haven't been on, and Robbie Gray tells him as well. Centre it. Port Adelaide have got a massive first month as well. In their first 4 weeks, they play the 4 teams that finished around them in the top 5 last year. So
Tough
it's going to
draw,
be... And then in round 5, they've got the Crows. So their first month of football, Port Adelaide, is going to be massive. They start with Fremantle, of course, and they play the others in the top 4 last year.
Could make or break their season, couldn't it? I mean, if they can be 4-1 or 3-2,
Yeah.
they'd be happy.
And then the Crows at home at the Adelaide Oval. Lions. Impey. Arms free. Jacobs. They're tiring, though, these players.
Oh, that's got to be a free. Yeah, contact below the knees took him out.
Travis Boak.
Now there's real space out to the far side in the forward line. That's where he puts the ball in front of Schultz. This will be interesting. See if he can get a bit of touch here.
Schultz and Talia. Sam Gray helps with some separation, and Westhoff falling back. Got it.
Well, they're 2 key forwards. Well, you count Butcher as the 3rd. Schultz and Westhoff.
Oh,
that's
to Robbie Gray. He's come back.
He's called time off there. They've both been out of touch to that.
They haven't scored, either of them, have they? Is Jay Schultz?
So when
No,
the ball's...
he hasn't.
His timing, Westhoff, even in the centre bounce, his timing and shot selection
And 50.
has been pretty ordinary.
So Grigg.
Butcher's been able to run at it, Dwayne, and mark it, but once again, if the ball's not above eye level, it sort of takes Johnny Butcher's effectiveness out of the game. He's not that good on the deck.
So 24 playing today. That has to be culled by 2, of course, for the opening round of the season. This is Ramsey. Sub on. The Port Lincoln ball we've spoken about a few times. Didn't strike that all that well. Stewart goes back. Pittard. And Lobie gets away from Jacobs. A rare moment. Did you have another text about a Port Lincoln player, did you, Roo?
Yeah, I think it might have been Aaron Davey, another one as well.
Another Mallee Park boy. Just had to get that out. You did, so you didn't get in trouble next time you go to town.
Exactly.
Polek. Talia. McKay, close to the boundary. And rolls out of play. I might try and get you into trouble. Who's the best player ever to come from Port Lincoln there?
Oh, no, that's...
Come on.
Dean Lucan.
Guys, we're just seeing the sub there. It's Tex Walker's the one that's come off. He's done enough today, the big skipper.
Absolutely.
Yep. Wrap him up.
Thanks for that, Cam. You helped change the subject nicely for Mark Rashudo.
He was stuttering a bit, wasn't he?
He wasn't prepared to give us Greg Phillips.
Oh, yeah, flipper. One of your old teammates. He would have been a mentor to you, wouldn't he?
Oh, great player he was.
His quads were bigger than Ollie Warren's.
Sloan. Been a few others as well come from there that have been great players over time. Depends on how far back you want to go. Stewart takes off at half back. Corns, now they've got open side players. Pittard's over the top.
Dam's got fond memories of Martin Leslie.
Marty. Good player, Marty Leslie.
Talia. I can't give you Marty Leslie. Didn't live there long enough, Roo.
Really?
Yeah. He's grew up down the road from Alberton. Need back inside 50. A high bomb. Schultz. Timing almost back. Sam Gray. Over the head of Mitchell.
He took a step back then. He had to put his body over it. And maybe even Lynch might have collapsed on his back then. He just made that half shuffle back. I know he's a much, much slighter man. Young Kane Mitchell there. Good jump here. Once again, the tie. He got hands to it. 4 weeks down the track, and he'll probably glove that one cleanly.
And Hardigan on hands and knees as well for the Adelaide Crows, so we'll keep an eye on that injury situation. Elaciano about to be run down by Impey. Got it off to Douglas. Sends it along, goal square. Dangerfield playing full forward now with Walker off. Got a couple to beat. Does well. Beats them both. Didn't quite trap it. Still alive. Shrugs them. Kick the goal. That'd be the finish. He goes for Jacobs. Sign him up if you can, Roo.
Sign him up.
Yeah, that guy looks like he can play that 32.
Dangerfield.
Yeah.
No, I just want to see if he... No, I just got to run the game out a bit more first, I think.
Roo, if he played 60-40%, like 60% in the midfield, 40% down forward, how many goals do you reckon you'd want to see him kick this year from a forward's point of view?
40, 50.
50 from 40%.
It's only a couple of games.
They are doing everything right at the moment, the Adelaide Crows. Jacobs kicks the goal.
Set him a challenge.
50.
Jeepers.
He worked pretty hard there. He after the original spoil, he had 2 opponents to contend with. But that's look at this. Now watch him get away from them. In comes Broadbent, slaps it away, but he's still, with his power and pace off the mark, he's able to keep. Look at Broadbent. Look how far away he is now. He and Jonas were the 2 originals that he started in that contest, but his power off the mark and willingness to follow the ball.
I reckon he'll benefit Danger out of having a different training program over the summer. They all appear to be a bit fitter.
Turns 25 years of age next month. And he's great with contested possessions. Highest contested possession rate of any player in the comp last year is Young. Sends Port Adelaide inside 50. Butcher, early fly. Didn't bring it down. Wines. Impey. It's not bending quite enough.
Johnny Butcher fought for the rear position then, knowing that his teammates were going to kick the ball long. I'd like to see him just lead at the ball carrier a little bit more and at least put a split in the thought process of the defenders' minds.
Grigg changed his mind, but maybe that was the ploy to Cheney. Missed him. Young. Mitchell. High centering kick. Butcher under this one.
Yep.
He might finish the game as he started it.
Now, this is a bonus for him, Johnny Butcher. Must kick it.
You've got to be 4 for the day for the Butch.
Yeah, but he'll fall apart if he misses from this distance, emotionally about the way he's kicking. Now, this is a bonus goal, though, because he didn't work for it. He stood on the mark. The ball gets turned around 15 seconds later, and he actually hasn't moved. So,
Get a couple of them, don't you?
yeah, occasionally he might. Good. Well done.
And he's a contender for round 1 as well. So 2 players have to be dropped out. There's 24 playing today, and then you've also got a couple that will come in. We presume Chad Wingard will be fit, Hamish Hartlett, Jackson Tringove, and then there's the variable, of course, Angus Monfries and Paddy Ryder also waiting to work out their fate.
See, that's a great shot. It actually shows where young Johnny Butcher had been standing since the kick-in. He actually hadn't moved. But that's a bonus. You have to take the mark.
That ball drop was perfect.
Yeah, I know. It's just, sometimes it's not.
Good crowd in here for the last AFL sanctioned contest at Amy Stadium. Ball slammed into the turf. Lobe still rucking. Redden didn't play. He was listed to play. Didn't play today.
It's going to be another. Oh, sorry,
I was just going to say this place is going to be like Waverley. It'll end up having houses around it and retail around it, and there'll be townhouses all around the oval, and so very similar to what Hawthorn have at Waverley.
So no closed training sessions anymore.
No, I wouldn't have thought. Not when that happens, when the stands come down over the next few years.
Well, they try and close, and that's running out. And if you want to get a look at it, you'll have to buy an apartment.
That's right.
So all the recruiters from other clubs, all the forward scouts have an apartment at Glenferrie, do they?
Yeah, 17 other apartments get sold to other clubs. Just on that.
You were about to leave Glenferrie anyway, aren't you?
Glenferrie?
Yeah.
That a while ago.
Not big enough. Sorry, not Glenferrie. You're about to leave Waverley, aren't you, anyway?
No, not on the board.
Okay. Ebert, long.
Coming late.
Looks okay, just misses. Yeah, Waverley, that's what we're talking about, where there's apartments all around the ground, the old Waverley Park, the VFL home ground as it was.
Out of the loop. You might have to ask the bung, Jason. He might be still in the know.
Well, most clubs need 2 training grounds these days. Like to have 2 training grounds.
Yeah. That's your secret session. You just fool them where you are. I just want to ask you about this, Roo.
Yeah.
Is the accent on defence here for this final trial match for both teams? Because both teams in the second half have gone with a 6-man, an extra man in defence, rather than running down the other end to make even numbers. Both have played 6 defenders
I think that happens
against 5 forwards.
I think it happens
7 defenders
most of the year, doesn't it, Dern?
Yeah, but sometimes teams actually want so much pressure on. They want no. I mean, if you're playing Hawthorn, the last thing you want is Josh Gibson being the extra defender.
Yep.
So they man them up. But neither team has decided to go, well, let's run our extra bloke to the other end and man it up here.
Kicked a very accurate 66-26 last year, Jay Schultz. He is one of the best kicks in the competition.
Before that, they'd kicked 1 goal 10 in the second half, Port Adelaide. So this score could be a hell of a lot closer if it was, 6-4 or 7-3. So maybe disappointed Port fans if you're sitting at home. Still 23 scoring shots. They've had 49 inside 50s to 40 for Adelaide. So
just gets a nice little split from Jakey Need there. See how Talia's coming in? You didn't see it, but Jake Need just walked in front of Talia for a nanosecond, and it gave the 1 metre split for Jay Schultz to get the drop on Daniel Talia for on the lead.
Like all good defenders, Talia hates having goals kicked on him, even in the last quarter of a NAB challenge game.
Ball knocked down to Travis Boak. Didn't have prior and was dispossessed. Pollock throws that back to Lobe. Down to Wines. This is for 9. And it doesn't sail well for him on the full. Adelaide Crows, for the record, if you've just joined us, have kicked 3 9-pointers this afternoon. Rory Sloane has kicked 2 of them. So $1,000 worth of Sherrins thanks to NAB heading to Upway Tacoma. White steals it back again. And stolen back again by Kelly. And he's looked good since coming on.
So that's the sub.
Jake Kelly. Back again. There you go.
Left-footed, Ned's
the
boy.
left, yeah.
He might have a bit more class than the old man.
Oh, don't start saying that. He was a star, Ned.
He was. I played on just about every time.
And if Jake keeps playing like this, he might have to look for a play manager as well at some stage. Heads wide. Talia and Short's little hands in the back.
Wonder if he'll play 5%.
For those unaware, the great Craig Kelly, now one of the best player managers in the business. And his son looking good off the rookie list. They've got a couple of players from the rookie list playing this afternoon. Adelaide, Jake Kelly and Keenan Ramsey, both been brought on as subs.
No, he's a tremendous player, Ned. A little bit of trivia for you, Ned. Very, very good horseman as well.
Is he?
Wonderful rider. Yep.
Well, if you look at
Do you want to be a big horse?
Jake Kelly, where he's from, it says Mansfield. Which,
Yeah, I'd say the old man would have put him up in the saddle at an early age too.
wild up there, of course. Not the people, the horse, some of the horses. Boak sends it long. Butcher gets back, Neeg gets back, and here's Kelly on cue.
Oh, knock it in.
Yep. Hardigan looks okay again, which is good for him as well.
There he is, Jakey Kelly.
Yep.
He's better looking.
Collingwood could have had him under the father-son rule. Went to Scotch College. High bomb. Lynch, the target. It's drifting wide, and he's pulled that in. No, he hasn't. On the full. Pollock's ball.
Doing some attacking now. Port Adelaide 1-1 to 2-3 in this final quarter. Inside 50s. 13 apiece.
Off hands. Sam Gray.
Thank you, Root. Correct me on that one. Doubled them. I was reading the handball receives there, 13 apiece.
And toes it through. That's one of the great goals. That is outstanding. You'll see that again. That's on the highlights reel forever.
He's got 5. Going to be hard to leave him out of round 1 after kicking 5, isn't it?
You could try that another 100 times. And you might not make contact on 90 of those occasions.
And people are worried about his kicking.
He's kicked 5-1.
Rui, there's a spot there, isn't there? We don't know what's going to happen with the other guys up in that forward line, but they need that third key position player, and Kenny's spoken about it over the summer. He's spoken about it the last couple of years. He's put his hand up today, Butch, and good luck to him. There's that spot there for him at the moment.
They didn't do it last year, though, Mearns. They just went with Westhoff and Schultz. So had a pretty good year without him up forward last year.
Port Adelaide trying to make this scoreline look a little more respectable by the final siren. Douglas trying to make it look worse. That's the trip. And Young.
That could be. Yep. Threw the boot out, but it was aimed at the foot. Lucky it didn't strike the leg. Watch the foot.
Yeah, got him too.
Yeah, got the foot.
Different system with the match review panel these days. Look at that, no doubt. Douglas goes long to the pocket. But they are, Lobe, good mark. But they are a little more lenient in 2015. The match review panel under the new system where
no carryover points.
Things have a different grading as well. Careless or intentional, the two gradings. And be interesting to see whether they say that's careless or intentional.
I won't comment on that one, but so we'll just leave that up to them. But there's a few more fines as well for the smaller infringements, and no carryover points, which I think is a good thing.
This is where the system has been great this year so far. I mean, there was no harm done there. Yes, it was silly, but if a fine comes out for that, that's great. You don't want to see a guy miss weeks over something like that.
Spot on.
Not unless you're playing him next week.
That's a good point. So Fremantle, who may be without a couple of their stars as well. They've had a few go down. Hayden Ballantyne. Big question mark, of course, over Ryan Crowley right now. That's who Port Adelaide's round 1 opponent is. And
Crowley won't play in round 1, will he?
Jonas, unless there's something that emerges that I don't know about, and we don't really know all the circumstances there, but we presume not. Pittard. Didn't strike that well. Schultz is going to go up and plucks it on the line.
Great position by the umpire to get a really good look at that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look where he caught that one. Not that it really matters, but it was a good catch. Good mark.
Broadbent, this is for 9.
He can roost them too.
He can give it a ride.
So Port Adelaide haven't kicked the 9-pointer. Adelaide have kicked 3, and he's a local boy from Henley. He doesn't go for the 9. Mitchell.
See, even that one there. Wait on that.
Oh, Lobe, he missed it. Back to Mitchell, ducked into it. You heard the umpire's call, tried to thread it out. McKay.
Westhoff in a second, if this goes out. That last incoming ball, the marking contest, and look at Justin Westhoff, he got motioned under the footy, so he didn't make the contest. He complained to the umpire while the ball was still in play and up for grabs in the goal square. He's just got to turn around and want the ball. He seems to be doing a lot of poor, pitiful me today. He's just got to refocus.
There's Young.
Watch this. Now, watch. No, this is the mark from... Yep. See the umpire on the left-hand side of the screen there. That's the field umpire.
Van Berlo touched to play on. Through some hands. Polek slaps it down to his own advantage. Overcooked the handball to Cleary. Mopped it up. Carlisle. Broadbent again.
It's been all right, Tom Cleary, since he's come on.
White. And he sits it up. Butchers to the pocket. This will be on the full.
Well, they've now had the same amount of scoring shots, Port Adelaide. 25 each, 10-15 to 15-10.
A little bit of concern for the boundary umpire here.
To cramp it up.
There are 2 boundary umpires on each side, so...
He's injured. Tell him to go up to the side. Keep the game going. Walk around the boundary. Walk around the boundary. Can we come up? Oh, they're coming down.
So there's another boundary umpire out that side, or one of the umpires. There's 4 umpires today, so one of them could simply man the line.
How big it, mate? You got the last 6 minutes.
Yeah. Ooh, almost a throw. Yeah, it was a throw.
There's some wonderful old-time stories about blokes. In the old days, in 19th and 20th man, and the coach left them on off the ground until time on in the last quarter, and then they just refused to go on. No, I'm not getting wet. I'm not getting cold for 3 minutes of footy. That umpire took a while to get up then.
Dangerfield. Well, here's what you asked for, Derm.
Well
as
done.
a full forward and as a one-on-one contested ball winner, he's close to the best in the competition.
Well, they've got some potency up forward, haven't they? And what they're doing, well, on today's sighting, is that they're getting big numbers back into defence. And as long as they are prepared to run, and that's where you're talking about Douglas and these types of blokes finding form again from a few years ago, run the ball hard through between the 2 50-metre arcs. You give space to Dangerfield if he plays more time inside 50. If space to Big Tex down there, they get a real good look at potency about them.
Post. A couple of those from his boot.
Oh, that's not to advantage.
All Crows. Sam Gray makes a contest. Douglas was waiting for it. Just flicked back to him. So they've done well all afternoon, the Adelaide Crows, in not letting Port Adelaide out of their half. Lions. It's hard to know who Adelaide are going to leave out of their team as well for round 1, which is against North Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval. Tickets on sale for that game right now. There's still a few available for Crows fans.
Easter Sunday.
Absolutely. That should be a monster. So get in early if you want to get a ticket for that one.
They got 45,000 to the GWS game on Easter Sunday last year, so it's a big game for the Crows and a big game for North Melbourne too, because a lot of people predicting North Melbourne will push for a top 4 side this year.
Yeah, well, they were top 4 last year, so that's a huge contest. So get your tickets now. All the tickets for round 1 are on sale. Check the AFL website, go online, or just give the Adelaide Crows a call on Monday. Give Mark Rasciuto a call. Just drop in and say hello.
We can't ask the rude, Dwayne, and Cam Mooney, I'll ask you as well. Have you upgraded the Crows on what you've seen today, Moons?
I have, to be honest, yeah. I think I've been really impressed with the way they've defended in their forward half. Again, I spoke about it before. You know, the way they turned the ball over last year and got scored against was really poor. Phil Walsh, we know, he loves his defence, especially the forward line defence, and defending the turnover. And what I've seen today, and look, Port have been pretty poor after half-time with their running ability, but what I've seen after half-time today, I think Adelaide looked really, really strong.
Schultz should nail this, kicks the difficult ones. Just kicks that one as well. So Port Adelaide really right now pretty close to just 3 super goals down. That's what they're down.
Yeah.
Adelaide have kicked 3. Port Adelaide haven't kicked any.
Things gone out of the game in the last quarter. I think a few positional changes have been made on both sides. Which is what we said. Usually 3 quarters you can guarantee they'll have a real crack. The last quarter, a bit of cotton wool comes out.
Port Adelaide with their season launch this Thursday in town, so it's going to be a big day for them. See a little bit of work done on the boundary line on Matt White. That is, I think, Matt White behind there.
He had a few little soft tissue injuries last year, Matty White.
There he is.
Well, he didn't get any contact then, and he ran through the back of the square, so that's something might be of concern.
Good hands, Young, to Boak, tries to shrug.
Wrong foot.
Holek winds, coming back, and it is there. And in essence, it is 3 super goals the difference. 12-15-87 Port Adelaide to Adelaide 3 super goals, 12-11-110.
Certainly running out the game strong, Port Adelaide. They would have copped a fair verbal, I would have thought, at 3/4 time after a disappointing term.
And Ken Hinkley's been sitting back, allowing Matthew Nicks to coach for much of the pre-season.
Yeah, last couple of weeks, but Ken's in charge today. There'll be no doubt about that.
And you saw him with the headset on earlier and Matthew Nicks not. And there's Matt White.
That's not good, because that wasn't a contact injury or reason why he's off.
Ellis Yeoman Long, Dangerfield, 1-on-1. He's got great hands, hasn't he?
And Tom Jonas is no slouch.
No,
he's a good size. He's got good spoiling technique.
Ooh, that was nearly the Brad Ebert prelim final. Little smother.
Having said, if you do that and you actually don't kick it and he smothers it, it's 50 metres.
That's true.
You've got to move off the line and you've got to wait for the umpire to make the call.
So you have to just let him kick that, do you?
Yes.
Hit the post a couple of times. Starts it right, bends it back.
Back line. Put him in the back line, Root.
Yep, that's what they did in the old days.
Maybe he's just making a statement. You're better off just leaving me in the midfield.
That's one of the ironies of modern football, isn't it? If you're a beautiful kick of the footy, we put you in the back line.
Exactly.
If you're a hard-working tackler, we'll make you a defensive forward.
Gee, threaded the eye of the needle there. Ebert in a nest of crows, 4 of them around him. And he picked him out.
Broadbent's trying to sneak the sideways kick across on the back line.
Stolen. Lions. Just playing with it now, right. Just content to go in. Van Berlo, good to see him playing well this pre-season after missing all of 2014. Former captain. Eddie Betts early.
Oh, Eddie.
Cleary caught. Good tackle too. Ellis Yeoman, Eddie Betts from the pocket. Eddie just turning it on one last time for the afternoon. The new dad.
It's a fair goal.
That's a good goal. He's had another good day, Ed. He's had a good pre-season. 20 disposals, a couple of sausage rolls.
Watch the jump here.
Set for a good year, I reckon. Ellis Yeoman's put his hand up today for a round 1 spot as well with 27 disposals.
Yeah. The thing is with Ellis Yeoman as well, we see the world of, say, Fremantle, the big midfield brigade. Ellis Yeoman, 188, 189 centimetres and
6'2" and a bit.
Yeah, and 90 kilos. If he can play midfield, he's one of the new breed, that big midfielders.
Yep.
Young to get himself a late one.
Kick.
Yeah, nice snap. The thing I'd say about Young is there were a couple of easy shots. There was definitely one easy shot he needed to nail earlier in the game when the heat was on. Now we're in a bit of showbiz footy time. We do this. These are like shelling peas for league players when the heat's out of the game. Still a good finish.
6-4 in the last quarter for Port.
Crows won their first NAB challenge against North Melbourne, lost last week's Game 2 to Geelong, but they've had a good pre-season. New coach, perhaps a breath of fresh air, different system. You know, he's come from a system that works, both at the West Coast and at Port Adelaide. So great signs for Adelaide here from this. To the Young in the pocket again. He might get 2 late ones.
He led to that pretty well, didn't he? I like that.
He's a very good player. I like him. I think he'd be in most sides.
6'2", 188 centimetres in the old terminology. He's a 6'2" player, midfielder, can run, but he actually led very well then.
And he was drafted off the back of being an elite kick as well. Butcher and West off. Okay, Adelaide's ball, dying seconds here. That should be it.
Say that again. He was drafted
off the back of being an exceptional user by foot as a kid, as an underage player. And everyone has to have a trick these days. If you want to get drafted, you need a trick.
If you want to play in the midfield at league level, you need one of the above: exceptional endurance, exceptional speed, exceptional agility and evasive tackles, really good with your hands, or a really good user of the footy by foot. If you don't have any of them, if you're competent in all the above, you still be a good player, but you won't make it.
Yes, it's hard to get a spot on an AFL list these days unless you've got a big package to bring. As you said, something to be your highlight reel. Tex Walker was a highlight reel for us early today. He's downstairs with Cameron Mooney.
Thanks, guys. Tex, fantastic performance. It's always nice to get one up on the old enemy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We set ourselves to play 4 quarters and have a high intensity in defence and attack. And just towards the end, we were getting a bit angry on the bench, but I thought we were good for 4 quarters.
It's been a build-up. I think Cats last week, the first quarter was poor, but from then on, you really built into that game, and you just really took it into this game.
Obviously, Walshy's brought over a new game plan, so it's taken us a bit to adjust to.
Yeah.
And as you've seen over the pre-season, we're starting to get used to it. So I think putting 4 quarters together is going to hold us in good stead for round 1.
Team defence seems like a real focus for you guys this year. I mean, it was poor at times last year when the ball got turned over in the middle and getting scored against. Today, it just seemed really impressive from the forward half, just really putting the amount of pressure on.
Yeah, I suppose if the forwards do their job, helps the mids out and also helps the back. So we need 18 guys to bind it, being in the team defence, so we do that and it helps out everyone else.
That was a great win, great play, mate. Well done, mate.
Thanks, Moons.
Had a run of 9 goals in a row at one stage. The Adelaide Crows led by 50 points. Read into it what you will. Crows hoping it's a perfect pointer to round 1 and perhaps to showdown 1, round 5. Adelaide by 24 points.